Hi, and welcome back to another episode of The Things We Love and Hate, part of the Know Before You Buy project. Today I am joined by Ronit Mazzoni, and she's going to tell us about some of the stuff in her home. Ronit, please introduce yourself and give us the too long did not read.
Sounds good. Thanks so much for having me, Lucy. I always enjoy your channel, so I really appreciate that you asked me to put in my 2 cents on this topic. My name is Ronit Mazzoni, as Lucy said, and I live in the Bay Area, San Jose, California. I live with my sighted husband and my 3 children. I work full time, and when I'm not working, I'm a mom, I guess. So we're busy.
And that's why we're having to meet late at night, because you have 3 kids.
We have owned many homes. People love to make fun of us for how many homes we have owned over the course of our marriage. The home that we're currently in, we did buy it last year. So, and we think that this is finally going to be let's hope, our forever home. We hope. But because of that, we've had a lot of chances to buy things and try things and see what works and what doesn't work. And so I feel like now that we are in this particular home, when we did remodeling before we moved in, I'm actually pretty happy with what we bought. Not 100% perfect, but generally happy with the what we chose to use in our home.
Excellent. So let's follow the traditional pattern for this channel, and let's start with something though that bugs you or you hate. I mean, let's start with the hate.
Okay,
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So I did choose to get a different washer and dryer than I had in a previous home, which had been working well. Actually, on Lucy's recommendation, we had been using an LG model of washing machine and dryer, which was working very well with the app. But when we were buying stuff for this house, the store we were using did not sell that. And so I really wanted to be able to, they were kind of discouraging us from getting that one. And there were some reasons they talked about that. But anyway,
Yeah.
I saw another model that they had, or I saw another brand. We saw a GE brand of washer and dryer, and they had it there in the store. So I was able to check it out, which is always nice. And it actually has tactile arrows, which is great. So that part is great. It does have an app, and the app is accessible. However, what I hate about it is that although you can check to see what cycle you have selected on the machine, and the phone will tell you what cycle you've selected. So if you're not sure, you can check that. But you can't actually change individual settings on the app like you could with the LG. And that makes no sense to me because they have an app. So I kind of figured, like, I kind of assumed that it was going to have this feature, and I didn't have and it didn't. And I kind of am mad at myself that I didn't really check that carefully. I just kind of assumed it would.
Were you able to even play with the app in the store, or just the machine?
Just the machine.
And that's a big issue, is that all these guys sell apps, and you ask them, do you know you have a machine that's paired to the app? Can I play with the app? And they're like, what are you talking about?
And often the machines are not, sometimes they're in the store and you can touch them, but they're not plugged in. So you can't do anything with them.
I have a really great story about machines that are plugged in stores. I have to tell this one. When we were looking for a coffee pot, we went into a Williams-Sonoma, and at the Williams-Sonoma, they had like a bunch of really fancy coffee machines, and the coffee pot we wanted was, of course, somewhere where you needed a ladder to climb up to the very top shelf. So while I was waiting for the person to pull down the coffee pot that we wanted to look at, I was, of course, playing and looking at all the models sitting in the store, and they were all plugged in. And I was walking past and looking at all the different machines, and I was looking at this really fancy espresso machine, and it had a touch screen, and it had a steam wand, and I got blasted by steam with the steam wand because I accidentally touched the button.
And didn't realize you were touching the steam to make it go.
Exactly. And all of a sudden it just went all over me. It was like, luckily I didn't get burned, but
oh my goodness.
It's like, who does that? Nobody leaves things plugged in the store.
That's the thing. You have to beg them to plug it in, which we can never get them to do. And we just say, all right, well, we're just going to.
Yeah.
We're just going to.
Yeah. No, it's like, who does that? And when they can do it, it ends up burning us.
Yeah, exactly. There's
Yeah,
always touch screens that that you accidentally touch. I mean, we have all accidentally touched touch screens when we're not supposed to be.
exactly. And done strange and amazing things. So that's really disappointing that the app
Yeah,
doesn't do that.
I know.
It,
And so it's like the app itself though is like it's all great. Like there's not a part of it that I think is inaccessible. It's just that the app itself is not capable of doing that, which doesn't make sense.
are you listening, GE? Can we get a fix on that, please?
That would be amazing. Because
Yeah,
otherwise, I like the machines. I like them. I like that they have a tactile arrow. That's great. So now I
yeah,
don't really need the
that's
app.
getting hard. That's getting
Yeah,
really hard to find. A friend of mine did buy the GEs recently, and they don't even have tactile buttons for power anymore. The new ones.
you're right. Yeah, they don't.
It,
They have a
it
little. You can find it easily because it's indented, so you can.
no, this doesn't
Oh, this
even
one
have
is
an
not.
indent. It's
Oh wow.
literally a flat piece of plastic,
Huh.
and his concern is if his Wi-Fi ever goes out, he's screwed. He
Yep.
won't be able to use the machine, and that's why I always say that app accessibility is not accessibility. I call it usability. Accessibility is when we can guarantee that we can do it without an app and any other accessories
Yes.
or
And
aids.
as much as I liked the LG app accessibility, it's true that I couldn't really use the machine. I couldn't
Without it.
really use it without the app. And so when we sold that house, our realtor was laughing at me because I said, "Oh, but my machines, my washing machine." She's like, "Why are you sad about this?" I'm like, because we only bought them a year ago, and it took me a while to figure it out. And she's like, "Wow." And I said, she's like, "You really have to leave them here. You really have to." I'm like, "I know, but I don't want
No,
to."
no, that's funny that she said that because in all the times we looked at houses in the Bay Area, they always told us nobody ever leaves the appliances.
It's so funny because she's like, yeah, it makes it a lot more. It's like extra move-in ready. It was already move-in ready. We were living there. It was perfect. It was perfect.
Yeah,
But
it,
yeah, I don't know. Maybe
that's
we
yeah,
did get a good price on that, thankfully. But maybe
good.
that was why they were happy with our washer and dryer that I left there for them.
Well, that's I'm glad to hear that you were happy with that washer and dryer. It's sad to hear that GE is got that one little flaw because they actually do some really good publicity on their accessibility, and it's nice to hear that they've done some things right because that's
Yeah.
I question when I hear what they're advertising. I question, and my biggest problem is I can't go out and buy every appliance and help my friends, which is why we do this series. So
Yeah. No, that's it's great. So
and
yeah, I think that's what I think that I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we have that I don't like. I mean, I have the kind of the same love hate with my Bosch dishwasher. I love Bosch. I
yeah,
love
I
that.
like my Bosch.
Yeah, I mean their app is good, and I love that I can select literally everything in the app, which I do all the time.
Yep, yep.
And I have to admit I was lazy and didn't really put any bump dots or stickers on the machine itself. So the fact that I can't turn it on without my phone, it's my own fault. But
But you can though. You can though.
I
I
mean,
mean,
I can put stickers on it if I want.
yeah. And the interesting thing about the Bosch for me was I made the mistake of buying the ADA model
Oh yeah.
because they said this is our ADA model. This is going to work perfectly for you. And I said, what makes it an ADA model? And they go, because it has buttons. Because they knew that's what I was looking for.
Oh yeah. Huh,
That's
okay.
not what makes it an ADA model.
I think it's a different size, or it's lower or
Yeah,
something like that.
it's a different size and it's smaller.
Ah, yeah.
And because we're such foodie people, our plates are just an inch too tall for it, and our glasses are 2 inches too tall for it. So I have to, I have to play with the racks, and on the side where the dishes are at, the upper rack is at its highest, and the side where the glasses are on the
Oh wow, a little game of Tetris for you there.
exactly, and that's my only disappointment about the new one that we got. I mean, the app is really quite good.
Yeah.
Although we went through a period of time this summer where the app lost the connection to the machine, and as hard as we tried to reconnect it, it wouldn't reconnect. And all of a sudden, one day, the machine showed up again.
Huh, that's true.
So
I have had to force close the app to get it to sometimes connect to the machine for whatever reason. And I've done that a few times to try to get it to, because again, like I said, I'm lazy and I didn't put stickers on my machine.
Yeah, no. We get the lazy, and you know the fact that you have to call yourself a detrimental name like that. That's just wrong. You're not lazy. You're human. You're a mother of 3 with a husband and a full-time job, and you don't only have a job. You have a career. Like you do professional things that take you outside of outside of everything around your home for more than a 40-hour week. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And you're active in all the advocacy groups, and you do a lot of stuff. You just talked about your home life, but you're a busy woman. You're not lazy. You're just
Well, thanks. But I do, like I said, I do like the Bosch. I have to say I think you mentioned coffee machine, and I hadn't even thought about that until you mentioned coffee machine. We have a coffee machine that I love the features of, but I can't do anything to set it. And it does have buttons, but there's no sound. It doesn't make any
yeah.
sound.
They're tickety tick buttons, and there's no. So let me tell you, I have two units on my site that you will like. I have an espresso machine that is very accessible, and several blind people have bought it on recommendation and love it. It is one with a built-in grinder and everything, and it's very usable. The only thing that's tricky to do is if you know what number of grind you want, like if you want a 1 grind or a 2 grind, that part's not accessible.
Yeah.
And it has a button that you use to change it from 1 cup or 2 cups of coffee of the espresso grinds. So the workaround is we set it once and leave it for the grind size until the next bag of coffee that we have to adjust it for.
Yeah.
And the 1 cup or 2 cups of grounds, we just leave it on 1 and just push it in twice for a double.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I mean, thankfully ours does remember the settings.
Yeah.
So I did have my husband set things, and so what that means is then we have it set to we have like a drip coffee machine, but it can also do like Keurig singles. But if we're making a pot, then we have it set to make like half a pot. And just the other weekend, I had my brother over, and I said I kind of want to make a whole pot, but then I have to like adjust like not only how much I'm grinding, which is sort of like a whole mathematical thing that I didn't want to figure out. And my husband said, let's not figure that out. Let's just make 2 half pots. That's what we did. So,
exactly. And that's a glitch, but it's a glitch we can live with, right?
Yeah.
So that one is the Breville Barista Express. I love it. I love it. And it was on Black Friday for $4.99. So just as an FYI. And then the coffee pot is a OXO Good Grips drip pot.
Oh, okay.
And it's the cheapest one they sell. And it is like dirt simple. Just completely dirt simple. You have to buy the 8-cup version. You can't buy the 10 or the 14-cup because those ones have touchscreens. But it's completely mindless. You put your grounds in, you push the button, and you get a cup. It's got a little slider that you can use to change for the 1 or 2 cup, and it's just like it just works. It's fully tactile, and it's probably going to last longer than anything else because it's got no digital anything on it.
Well, that's good to know. Well, if when ours break, we have a Ninja combo thing. So pot plus Keurig and a Ninja.
Yeah. No, I looked at a couple of those and I thought I'd love to be able to have that, but it turns out my OXO Good Grips
it actually works well.
It worked, and it actually makes a good cup of coffee. Like the coffee doesn't suck.
Yeah, well, that's really important.
Yeah, and since we have an espresso machine and a coffee pot, and we have a roaster and we roast our own.
Nice. Okay.
I like my coffee, so
yes, it has to be good coffee.
Yeah, I'll have to remember to link to all those videos in the in
the description. Yes.
Yeah. So let's talk now about what you like. What do you have in the home that you think, my God, somebody did a great job on this?
Well, I mean, I guess I'll just put a plug in for the video that we already did. I won't talk about it because I showed it, but we did a video together on my, it's really a range. It's an oven/stove. But
yep, that's a range.
So, go find that video. It is also by GE, but GE Cafe. But yeah, go find that because that's really my favorite thing that we bought, which is good because I did a lot of research on that. So
And I'm hearing a lot of positive stuffs about other GE ranges. So just the good news for you is, yes, you bought an older model, but the good
yes.
news is that I hear the newer models are also as usable.
Oh,
So
that's good. The model that we have does not have a touch screen. And I think some of the newer induction models do, but I was afraid of getting that. So
yeah, we don't want to go there.
yeah. But besides that, I'm trying to think like, well, I already talked about my Bosch that that I like.
Yep.
What else do we have? I mean, we
Do
have
you
a
have an
we have a microwave, but I mean, it's a microwave, you
the
know.
trick to microwaves for your future reference? Buy commercial.
Oh, commercial. Okay.
We have a microwave that's designed to be like in high school cafeterias and
Yeah.
I mean the video they show to sell how durable it is a guy throwing it across the room by its door.
Yeah.
It's built to last. It's built to go through hell, and it has Braille built in on it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, great, great,
But
great. Yeah.
that's the trick for microwaves. One of these days, I should probably do a video on that
I
microwave.
know that's really interesting.
But
I
yeah,
wonder the size must be different on that though
it,
than
it's a it's
typical.
a it's a 1 cubic foot. It can hold a full size dinner plate.
Oh,
So
okay, okay,
it,
huh.
I mean, it's not fancy.
Yeah.
It, there is a popcorn button, I think. I don't know where it is because I never use it.
Yeah, we never use it. We joke that the only button you need on a microwave is the add 30-second button because that's the only button we ever use.
Yep,
So
yep, exactly. And I have the defrost button, the time button, and it literally has 1 through 10 numbered and start and stop. It's just a simple, plain microwave, and it works like you wouldn't believe. It's just great. But yeah, no, microwaves. How about, do you have like an alarm system you like? Do you have
Oh yes, yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I know. I sometimes have to think about. Yeah, so we actually are we are using Ring for our alarm.
I like that
Which I
choice. We
like.
are too.
Yep, yep.
We are too.
I heard your little chimes a little earlier, and I thought, oh yeah, I know that sound. I do like that. The app is as you know, pretty good.
Yeah,
Um,
I think they've done a reasonable job on the app. The Android one isn't as good as the iOS one, but the iOS one's actually pretty nice.
yeah, we actually
I
got a door lock. Gosh, I should have looked up the name. I'll have to send you
Oh,
that
I'm going
little.
to need to hear about that from you later because we've been looking for a door lock, but because we have storm doors that we like leaving open or leaving closed in the winter, but so the inner door can stay open.
Oh yeah, okay.
But it's like a half inch too thin for the standard door lock.
Oh, for the I mean, we wanted like an electronic door lock, and
Yes,
what we ended up getting is not perfect, but because we are an Apple home, it ends up being fine.
good, yeah.
So yeah, I'll have to tell you about that. But that's our new. I guess that's one of our newest thing. And then before we started recording, we have a a robot vacuum that we just bought, which
Yeah, my
generally is
favorite
pretty
brand.
good.
Yep.
It's pretty good. It's our first one that includes a mop and vacuum, so we're having fun playing with that. What I think I like best about it is that it does integrate with Apple Home. So if you have other things, you can control it from there, which is much more accessible than the app itself. But and so I'm able to kind of start and stop it and tell it to do things. It does also have a voice assistant. It's not super. It's not very fancy, or it doesn't understand a whole lot of commands, but you can tell it to do things with your voice, which is kind of nice sometimes.
Yeah,
So,
I mean
yeah.
it's all these things are really great. I mean, I love my ring system. We were using Simply Safe, which was good.
Yeah, we were using that too. Yeah,
It
that was
was
also
fine.
decent. Yeah.
And I do have a video on that, and I've been planning to do a ring video. I just hadn't gotten down to it yet because we only put it in this summer. And the Simply Safe worked really well. It was fine. The problem is we got a deal that we couldn't refuse on Ring, which is saving us. By the time the deal is over, it's going to save us a couple of $1,000s. So you got to save money.
Yep, you got to save money. And we were paying for the Simply Safe like monitoring, but we decided with the Ring that we're not going to pay for that. Again, wanted to save money, so we basically are self-monitoring with the
Yep,
Ring.
but it is cheaper than Simply Safe. Their premium plan is $19, whereas Simply Safe the month before
Yeah, I think it was 29, right? Something like
yeah,
that.
it was
Yeah.
actually it went up to 32.
Oh, 32. Wow.
It
Okay.
went up to 32. It's really funny though because when I actually called to disconnect it, they offered me a free year of Simply Safe, and I have to tell you, a free year is not as good as the deal we got.
I mean, Ring. I like Ring. I actually like the cameras of the. So we used to have Nest cams, and
Yep.
I actually like the Nest cams better than, say, for example, the front door camera that we have for Ring.
Yeah.
Mostly because it's constant. You can it doesn't just record motion or things when it sees things. It actually just records constantly, so we can always go back and find something that we're interested in finding.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that we like that better, but again, the house we were sort of, there was already a Ring doorbell installed, so we're like, well, let's just switch to Ring then, because that's what's here. So
Yeah. I like that they have a larger variety of items you can get.
Mhm.
So, for example, like there were 2 different kinds of smoke detectors we could get, and they had the one that we wanted, and the feature they had that kind of made it so like, we're getting that, I don't care, was they have a gate sensor. So we were able to put a gate. So now I can tell before I let the dogs out if the gardener's left the gate open or not.
That's great. Okay.
Yeah,
that's
kind of stuff to me is really good. And
I have to say, now you mentioned smoke detectors. We're actually using the Nest smoke detectors, which are really great. I love them.
Excellent.
And they were not easy to install, but we finally did it. But and I guess thermostats. We're using Nest thermostats, which
I've heard really positive
yes,
things about, except for setting it up.
I also, when we were living in our rental house before this, that house had an Ecobee, so I was able to try that, which was kind of a good opportunity for me to try that, since it wasn't our house that we owned.
Yeah.
And so now that I have used Ecobee and Nest, I much prefer Nest. So when we bought this house, we said, well, we're definitely going back to Nest because we like that better.
I'm jealous because we couldn't have either in our home.
Oh,
we have a steam system.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the guy who built our house didn't wire it properly. He wired it using 1970s standards, which meant there's only 2 wires going from the heater to the thermostat.
Wow. Okay.
And all the modern thermostats need 4 wires minimum.
I see. Yeah.
So when our furnace broke down, the guy who installed it gave us these Emerson ones, and they are okay. The app is okay. It's a little tough to use, but it is doable. But it works really well with our Echo, and I can tell
good.
it. I can tell it to. You have to be very precise on the language, which is what I don't like. So I can't say turn. I can't say turn on the heat. I have to say, set the kitchen to heat.
Right.
I can tell it to turn it off, but I can't tell it to turn it off. And because our house is steam, we actually have separate rooms. So I actually have 5 different thermostats throughout the house.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, that is complicated.
Yeah. So it was, but I'm jealous because I've heard the Nests and the Ecobees are actually quite nice. So
yeah, Ecobee was interesting. I mean, I'm glad I got to try it. And then, because now I know, at least for me anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to, what else have I forgot? I guess maybe that's all of it.
Well, we're getting carried away and way over time. So I apologize to the audience. If you had an opportunity to sit down with a company working on an appliance, what would you want to tell them? Like, what would be like the one thing you want them to walk away with? Like, what should they do to make sure that their appliances work for Ronit?
I think that having the option of buttons plus an app, because I'm a techie person. I like apps. I like to check on how things are going. I like that. So I really like having an app. But if I don't have my app, or if I don't want to get my phone out, I want to be able to use the appliance. So I know that's kind of a lot to ask, but to have the option of either, buttons that I can use or settings that I can set, as well as an app, so that I can, essentially really what that allows me to do is read the screen of whatever the appliance is.
Yeah.
That's really what I would like to have.
I don't think you're asking for much. I really think what you're asking for is basic accessibility. And the apps are great. The apps are very useful.
Great.
But it's, yes, having an app is a great thing. But like I said earlier, an app what happens when your Wi-Fi dies? When your Wi-Fi dies, because we've all had routers that go out on us, what if your phone...
You're between phones. Yeah, your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had a friend last year who was without a phone for 3 days. It drove him crazy. But those 3 days meant he couldn't use those apps that he needed.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, great way to think about it. I really appreciate it. I love talking to you. I might have to bring you back just because we have so much fun. This is great.
We do. We have a ton of fun. I love talking to you.
And maybe I'll come by one day and maybe record one or two of those items.
We really should. I would love to see you.
Well, thank you again. And, everyone out there, thank you for watching. Remember to click the like. Make sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And, leave us some comments. Those comments definitely help everybody understand, what's working and what's not working. But it's really important for us to get the feedback so that we can share the answers to your questions. Thank you. And thank you, Ronit.
And thanks again for having me. Thanks, everybody.